What is a great way to make someone feel uncomfortable? Simply say, "Remember me from a long time ago." If they say no, just smile and say, "Think about it," smile and leave. This happened to me once a couple of years ago and I am still confused. Well, did you think about it? I think he needs more thinking to do. Drink while you think, you peasant. Blink while you drink, you pheasant. Are we playing arsehole? I call vice president for the starting round. Oh fuck, it's my long lost bro. Eventually, he stops thinking. He even wrote about it, dude. Story of my life. I remembered my manager's name from a chain bagel place I worked at in high school for 3 months. This was 15 years later. Can't remember birthdays though. Ugh, I remember every little thing. Birthdays, my coworker's niece's confirmation name, how my brother-in-law's ex takes her coffee, people's details from years ago. So much so that I have to repress it in casual conversation as not to creep people out. It's a handy thing when it's relevant, but not so much when it's not. I'm so glad I'm not the only one. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Same here. To make things even more acutely uncomfortable, I have one of those faces that make me seem familiar even if it's the first time you're meeting me. I have to work not to make people feel creeped out. Having great social memory is actually a skill you can put on a resume. Finally, I am not alone. I feel you, bro. I remember a lot of weird and useless things too. Mary Lou Henner talks about this sometimes in interviews, and my favorite tip from her on this topic is to loop the other party into the memory in a friendly way. So instead of saying, "Yeah, I remember her confirmation name because I pay attention," it's better to say something like, "Oh, remember when you told me that? It stuck in my mind because Margaret is my aunt's name and I was so happy for you." And that makes most people feel noticed, important, instead of creeped out. I can't even remember today. Impressive. You must have my share of the memory thing. For technical stuff, no problem. For people's stuff, I have forgotten everything before I finish talking to someone. So that's where the other half of my brain went. I can't remember current coworkers' names and we wear fucking name tags. However, if someone asks me dates, I'm all over it. Obscure relatives' birth dates. Yup. Dates from history class 20 years ago. No problem. Movie release dates. Of course. Dates from works of fiction. You got it. Names. Never happen. Birthdays, what? This dude needs some closure. I feel he still has nightmares about it. It was Nick from school. Made out at a party once, but both were pretty wasted. It was no big deal. This is a great power move. Ahaha, good one. You can also step up the creepiness a bit by coming discreetly, deeply inhaling the hairs and say something like, "Have you changed shampoo recently?" Still more creepy. Your hair smells different when you sleep. Single quote, single quote. Your smell has changed. Do you remember me now? If not, think about it. Slightly smiling face. You still don't remember me, do you? Sounds more like a way to get inside someone's head than simply making them uncomfortable. RIP. Hilarious, so funny. I have to try this. Maybe they mistook you for someone they had a one-night stand with years ago. Meanwhile, the actual person moved to Florida or something while you are left to ponder what this person meant in their place. See if you can bump into them again nonchalantly and act like you've never met before. Then if they insist, you turn to your friend excitedly and say, "Wait, that's it. I know what to do to get the time machine to work. Also, you're dreaming, wake up, then walk away and deny everything. Get 3 random people to do this to 1 person. Bonus: tap any part of your face when you say, think about it. Doubles as creepy and is a reference no one will get. I am a terrible person. I used to do this at festivals with friends. I would convince people they knew me. Complete strangers. We would actually have a good time and end up being friends. What if they turned the tables and said yes they do? Wouldn't you be the one uncomfortable now? It was me. Don't you remember? It was that time you did that thing. Hey kiddo! Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Remember me from a long time ago. Think about it. Simply say, remember me from a long time ago. I did that once to George R. Martin. I walked past him while I was on the phone and said, oh hey. Like I knew him, and went on. He stared at me in confusion for a few seconds, trying to figure out if he knew me. I was working in a grocery store and a customer came up to me and said almost exactly this. That was over 20 years ago, still no idea who they were, but I definitely haven't forgotten that it happened. Say, think about it, smile and don't leave. FDFY. Leave walking backwards slowly while maintaining eye contact. Just go along with it and say, yeah, it rings a bell, but I can't really remember. Can you remind me? Nah, I had a shitty night and couldn't sleep at all, tell me. When people ask me a question and I don't know the answer, I just pretend I forgot the answer and ask them to enlighten me. If they give you the answer, tell them that's probably it, because your memory is still a bit foggy, because if they told you BS and just yell, yes that's it, then they've caught you lying. I'm a teacher and I hate it when former students do this to me. Sure, I remember some kids, the really good ones and the really bad ones, but the overwhelming majority of you are forgotten by the end of the next year. They don't seem to understand that every year I get over 100 new students to remember and they only get 7 new teachers to remember. It's a lot harder for me. Look constantly at the mouth, shoes or forehead. The person will feel like there is something wrong with those body parts. Or just look them in the eyes but never break eye contact. Most people struggle with eye contact already. Staring them in the eyes will creep out most of them. Being overly touchy or very very close to them. Giving them nicknames from the first meeting on. Smell their hair from behind and make a deep voiced mmmhhhh. I could go on forever. Bonus: if you try to get rid of someone who has a crush on you, call them buddy, bro, mate, or talk about how much you like some other boy, girl. Works wonders for men and women. I studied behavioral science at university. A surefire way to make someone uncomfortable is to hold normal eye contact, then flick your eyes to one other part of their face every 20 or so seconds. They will subconsciously start to think there is something there and then start touching the place you look. If you don't want to engage long enough for this, then all you need to do is stare at their forehead. It's not impolite, but because their eye contact isn't there, although it theoretically should be, they will generally cease interaction without understanding why. On the opposite, if you struggle with eye contact like I do, looking at the bridge of the nose gives the semblance of eye contact without the other person realizing. Otherwise, tell people you're slightly hard of hearing and so will have to watch their mouth when they talk. There are two that work for me. I do the nose thing since I can't figure out which eye I'm supposed to be focusing on. I just close my eyes. This works so long as you slowly nod your head and stroke your beard while you have your eyes closed. Whenever it's your turn to talk, make sure you take a sagely pause before you respond. Next thing you know, you'll be sending people on coming-of-age adventures and have knowledge on all the local hidden artifacts. TBF, I only do it when I'm playfully disagreeing with someone. To mess with customers when I speak to them, I completely avoid eye contact by making not just my eye but my whole head scan around the room, tears of joy. I roll my eyes into the back of my head. I cross my eyes and look at both. There is a thing called eye dominance, which is kinda like being left-handed or right-handed. Basically, you should focus on the eye parallel to your dominant eye, left eye on the other's right eye, and vice versa, and then both eyes will be in sync. There are a few tests you can do to figure out your eye dominance. 117. By eye dominance, I thought you meant getting into a dominance battle with someone. At my school, sometimes me and other people would stare each other in the eyes as hard and long as we can. Eventually someone will look away for some reason. No words were ever shared here, but we both knew what was happening. That was cool. I don't have a dominant eye. I'm insanely good at shooting clays or targets and uncannily good at playing pool, and he just explained why. Never seriously tried archery. Seriously, I've gone into clays parks and shot 100% first round without having fired a gun in years. I was always confused why others find it difficult. Do you keep both eyes open when shooting then? Of course. Exclamation mark. Shooting clays, the gun is a shadow that I line up with the target that's in focus. Whoa. Never knew about that, but it certainly explains why I felt like I had a subconscious preference for seeing out of one eye. Thanks to that video, I now know that I'm left eye dominant, but I'm also right-handed. I wonder if this is why, even though I suck at archery, I'm still better at it with my left hand rather than my right. It could explain it, as it aiming correctly would be more important for you than controlling the bow. Another explanation is that you might also have mixed dominance. It is when you are better with your right hand for some things, e.g. writing, but better with your left at other things. I have mixed dominance. I am left-handed to write, but if I have to punch someone, carry a heavy bag, or play basketball or volleyball, I am gonna be better with my right hand. Just found out I am right-handed but left eye dominant. Now I know why I focus on other people's right eye when talking. Well, kinda both at the same time. I go back and forth between the two, kinda. Unless they have a lazy eye. Then only concentrate on the good eye to not make them feel like you are staring. Except every 20 seconds or so. Just a quick dart over to the other. That is how it tends to happen, huh? Go cross-eyed. I heard staring into their right eye builds a sense of trust, but I don't care how true it is. Seems to work for me. Look into their left eye with your right eye and their right eye with your left. Works great for me. I feel like when people do this, they're not concentrating on what I'm saying and look like they are just dazzling off while talking to them. The third eye. I always kinda switch between both eyes. Is that weird? I do this with a coworker, great guy, one of my favorite coworkers I've had so far. That said, he has a super lazy eye, so I focus on the nose or the eye that doesn't drift all over the damn place, or else I start laughing. I don't want to, but maybe I'm a terrible person. I can definitely get myself to laugh at all of his jokes. I think I saw a survey or study done, and generally people look at the left eye when talking to people. I can't source it as it was a while ago, but I've noticed that generally is the eye I look at anyways. Then if they don't have a left eye or a blind eye, sometimes get thrown off looking into their right eye, lol. Both. Oh my god, same. On the topic of staring at unusual places in conversation, one guy I met years ago would only look at my chest while talking. I'm a guy, and he was clearly just an awkward person. But I hate to think how he handles conversations with girls. I've accidentally had a couple of overt gaze downwards. And I'm staring at her chest WTF moments, and let me tell you, the urge to die is real. Can't simply bring your eyes back up high because it just confirms to them that you were checking them out. So I had to keep my gaze pinned in a random direction and change every 10 seconds or so with exaggerated head inclinations. Add arm gestures too. Fortunately that does seem to work. Wait, he wasn't actually looking where I thought he was. This guy's just got a gesturing quirk, and being viewed as weird is infinitely better than being suspected as a creep. If you happen to be passing by in a corridor instead of holding a conversation, though, it's much harder. Wrong look and blam, they've moved past you before you could salvage the situation. Imagine having Asperger's and actually averting eye contact, and having this happen in basically every conversation. I have to tell people when I meet them I can't hold eye contact, and my eye wanders without any input. Maybe he just didn't want to assume your gender. I have boobs and I'm not a girl. I'm not a guy either. Not sure why you think chesticles equals gender. I am actually hard of hearing, and so my eyes are always subconsciously drawn to people's mouth as my brain attempts to understand WTF they're saying. I didn't realize it made people that uncomfortable. LMAO, my bad. Never realized how much lip reading I do until everybody started wearing masks. And by the way, I'm not hard of hearing, I think I'm just nosy AF. I haven't left the house in 3 months, so I haven't actually met a person wearing a mask. LMAO. Nothing wrong with that. Stay safe. I've been working, so yeah. Everybody in masks at all times. And I really miss lip reading. Lol. Yeah, I know. LMAO wasn't anything to really do other than just start at home anyways. My work is opening soon as well, and I'm actually looking forward to it, excited to see the new world. Stay safe at work. I have tinnitus bad enough that it affects my hearing. Masks making people even more muffled and making it so I can't see their lips fucks with me. I just nod and go way more than usual when I'm at the grocery store now. Sometimes looking at a mouth can be a subconscious sign of attraction.